All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we have our round brush and we've got some paint. First technique we're going to learn is called the starburst. No, starbust. So you're going to get your, you're going to go ahead, not yet, but you're going to get your paintbrush a little wet, and then you're going to kind of dry it off a little bit. You don't want, again, you don't want it to be drippy. You need, eyes should be on the board, nothing else. Put everything out of your hands. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of blue paint, and with your starburst, and let me show you what the starburst looks like. It is that spot right there, the bottom. I don't even, there we go, starburst. Oop, So we're going to go ahead and start in the middle of a spot, and we're going to bring out the brush so that you are, I need to get a little bit more wet, so that you're starting in the middle and you're just pulling out, up and out as you go through each burst. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time. Get a little bit of paint on my brush, starting in the middle. I'm going to go out and pull up. If I didn't pull up, I want you to see what happens. That's not what we want. We want this feathery look. So when you're in the middle, you're pulling up. And if you want to go over it a couple times, that's totally fine. But you want to make sure that your starburst, or starburst is going to be, sometimes people will just go out and do something that's straight, which is totally fine, or you can give it a curvature. All right, next one we're going to be doing is the comma. It's called a comma or an S. A lot of these brush strokes are used for flowers, like flower petals and things like that. So let me get with my purple, again, using the round brush. What you're going to do is, you're going to start with the bigger spot and then pull up. Let me try that again. And it's really a lot better if, let me get my little bit wetter on my brush. You're going to go fatty first and then pull up. Okay, don't do anything yet. Hold on. You want some curvature ones. You want some small. So actually, you guys, you are pulling up a little bit, but it's not to the point where you want it to be feathery. You want to keep it, you want to keep your pressure on your brush the whole time. All right. So go ahead and try that. You want it to look like a curvature, or if you want to try S's, that's totally perfect. Do maybe some C's like a comma, or maybe an S like an S. Okay, next one we're doing again is called stipple, S-T-I-P-P-L-E. I am going to use one of my darker colors. Going to get that on the tip of my brush. I'm going to go ahead and start more pressure because I want some larger circles, and really that's what I'm doing. I'm doing some circles on here, so I want larger ones. If you go ahead and use your brush and go straight up and down, you're going to get more of a large circle. But then obviously I'm going to branch out and go as small as I can. You do need to go and reapply your paint. See what kind of sizes that you can create with your brush. If it's not an actual circle, that's okay. But at least you are doing some stippling. Sometimes also people have used toothbrushes if they want kind of like a Starry Night stipple, and you kind of fling your paint, but right now you're using the actual round brush, the tip of your round brush. So I'd like to see some larger. Give me some different size of points on your paper first before you go to your sample page. Okay, this next one's called dry brush. So I did get a little bit of water on my brush, but I'm going to go ahead and go into my pigment so that I do have a good amount on my brush. But then as I am applying it on the paper, I'm going to keep going to where it's going to be dry. I do want it, because maybe I want to do possibly a sunset or something that's going to show maybe I want to apply different types of colors. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to reapply is really what you're doing. So you're going to just apply paint one time, and then you're just going to go ahead and pull across your paper, and you're just going to continue to blend that one bit, and your brush does end up being dry brush. Let's talk here. The freestyle is really just different pressures on your paintbrush. So I'll go ahead and get some pigment on my brush. And then I'm going to be lifting up, pressing down, lifting up, pressing down, lifting up, pressing down. So I am going to be creating a larger piece and a smaller piece, all in one, kind of like a snake. But you need to make sure that you have control of your brush when you're doing freestyle, because maybe you want it to be thinner, 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 and maybe thicker again. So that's what I want you to practice. I want you to practice different pressures on your brush. Maybe a thin, thin line, then you want it to be a little bit fatter, then you want to make thin again, thin again, thin again, and then fat. Okay? That is called freestyle. Of each color, but you still want to use them as a blended piece. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the blue, and I'm going to use this an area, and I'm going to go ahead and keep that pretty solid. I should be on the board, please. But then I'm going to pick up some yellow. I'm not even going to clean my brush, and I'm going to apply this yellow in about 1/8 of an area of this. So what's happening to my yellow? It's turning green, yeah. But because I want the purity of the yellow, I'm going to clean my brush, reapply, and I am going to clean my brush so that I don't have any green there. Grab this because I do want to still have the purity of the yellow on the other end. So as you blend, you need to make sure that you are having the purity of the blue. As you're blending that color, you are going to get a secondary color. That's fine. Re-clean your brush, reapply that second color so that you have the purity of the yellow there. Okay? So why don't you try that? So then I'm going to go ahead and do a purple section. Going to go back in and reapply with some blue. Clean my brush. Good. So I've got purple and I've got that blue. And you could even continue to have purple, and then maybe I want to apply some yellow. You can try with the 3 colors, you guys, if you'd like. Making sure that you have the purity of all of your colors.